Alright. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today, not today, but I took a little break. So in this video, I have said that I'm gonna try to make those buttons, open those sections, and I'm gonna do that. But first, I need to show you something. I have this data icon folder created, and I put these PNG images or icons on it. And by the way, I also uploaded this to my GitHub account, so if you don't want to go to trouble finding these out for yourself, just take my own and work with them. So now our application still looks like this, and we need to use those icons to make it look a little bit cooler. So let's open the index.py and let's create a function. So we already have the handle UI that calls all the functions to deal with the UI thing. Now what we need to do is create a function that assigns those buttons or assigns those icons to them buttons. Alright, so let's say set icons, and let's say so. Now what will we need? First we need to know button names. Alright, we need to know the names of the buttons. We need to know the functions that we are going to use. So it's going to be something like self.buttonName .set icon, and we're going to need a function called QIcon from the Qt library, and this will have the icon path, alright, on it. And this icon path variable itself is going to be equal to something like qpixmap. We have used this before, and this pixmap is going to just have the actual path like this folder, or like icon, or like data icon, and let's have this student PNG, something like this. Alright, so this is what we will use. Okay, that's it, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Now we need to import the pixmap. I guess we already have that. Yeah, any error we're gonna deal with it, so let's just figure out the name of the buttons. So we need to reopen our designer and change them names if we already haven't. Let's see if I already started recording. Alright, I did. Now I need to change them names for these buttons. So push button 7 was the already name that this is using, so let's call this button student. Alright, let's call this one button attendance. So like if you pay a little bit of attention, you're gonna notice some pattern or some naming convention that I'm using to name my buttons or to name things in my application. So you're gonna recognize this the more and more we do stuff. So button attendance, button student, button fees, and button settings. Save your file or your main.ui, and then reopen your index.py. First of all, let's minimize this. It's creating some distraction for me. Now we need to make our first button. So let's have this self self what? So let's do self button student. This is the first thing that we're gonna do. I said set icon, q icon student. Let's call the variable student, and I'm gonna have the student variable equal to q pixmap equal to data icon student. Alright. Okay, so all the buttons, let's take this and copy it. Well, let's have this, copy it 4 times. Let's have this copied 4 times. This is for the attendance. This is for the fees. This is for the settings. Just setting these buttons here, so make sure to speed up the video, by the way, if you are getting a little bored. So this is the attendance button. Okay, I guess I'm done. Some space in here so you can recognize the code. Now all we have to do is to call this function in here, so set icons. Alright, it needs no arguments. Let's see what kind of errors we are gonna get. Alright, I guess no errors. Why is that? And no pictures. So we have the data, we have the icons. So where did we mess things up? We called the handle UI function, that's for sure. And this function calls this function, which does this. Alright, so let's just print, is this working? So if this function gets called, we're gonna see that on our terminal. Alright, it's working. Okay, I guess I need another function, which is to set the size for these buttons. So self.button student set icon size, I guess. And this is the Qt core q size function, which takes 2 arguments. Let's just give it 30, 40 for now. And let's see what this does. Alright, Qt core is not defined. So let's import it. Let's do something like from PyQt 5 import Qt core. Let's do something like Qt core, import everything. I don't think this line is necessary anymore. Qt core is not defined. Let's see now. Now it's working, and still no icons in our buttons, and no error, which is weird. So let's just change the size and let's see if anything changes. Let's make this 100, this to 90 something. Still, let's just remove that writing in the designer pretty quick. No. Alright, so designer data main UI. So let's go to our UI file and let's remove the thing or the students writing in there. Let's just do this and do that. Okay, it's not working. That's a problem. Okay, now I need to do some research. Okay, so let's just move on from this pretty quickly. I'm sure that I need this, but student, so set icon size, attendance, set icon size, fees, okay, let's try it now. I've changed everything, but still and the weird thing is there are no errors, and that's what's bugging me. Let's print settings in here and let's see what we get, and let's print let's print only that. So keep pixmark object at okay. Now that we got this done, but I don't know why this isn't working. Let's just move on from this function. I will get to it in the next video, I promise. Now let's just do another thing. Alright, let's move on and make this disappear for the moment, or let's just make these buttons open these sections before we make this disappear, and that is to just create some function prototypes first, and that will be open, like open student, no need to name it open student section. So let's just copy this over and over again. We have open student, open attendance, and if you notice there is always a pattern. Each section has to be dealt with the same as the section before, or let's just say that everything has the same blueprint, so you don't even need to complete this video series if you really just want a hands-on thing, or you do just want to get how things work. You already know that by now, but if you want to watch me do the whole thing, be our guest. Alright, Astaghfirullah, Subhanallah. I don't know, what did I miss in here, or what did I miss? So these functions, the first function will be we need the tab widget name, which I guess the first tab widget by default is called tab widget, or tab widget, and let's do set current index to 0. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Okay, and this should be the second index. This is to be the third, and this is the fourth index. Because as programming we start from 0, that's why I call the 3 here the fourth index, even though it's a number 3. So yeah, so first of all, in the handle UI, because we call this every time the application starts, we need to Selfopen student by default. Alright, and self student itself will open the first widget, or the first sub tab widget index as well. So if I go to my designer and open my main UI file, I'm gonna find out that I have a tab widget. So this is the second tab widget, and this is the first. So tab widget, which is which is the first thing, and the second tab widget, which is this whole thing. I'm just gonna open its first index. So now if I save, even though I save my file in here and close this, it won't open in this index. Let's just run our application. Qt tab widget object has no attributes at current index. Yes, it does. I just made a typo there. And it's a terrible mistake because I need to edit it in 4 different sections of the program, like I said. And first of all, let's make you understand this by not doing the open student at all, so you know what I mean. Now when I open my program, it's by default gonna open wherever I save my main.ui file in the designer. So if I saved my UI while I was opening this sub tab in this bigger tab, it will eventually by default open this when I open my program. But if I commented this, or I uncomment this, it will open whatever I say, which is the first subtab index on the first tab widget. Now we got this. We got our application to open the first tab, and we got them functions to make it work like so. Now we need them buttons to open our sections. So what we need to do is to make another 4 functions which says like, let's figure out what can I make this. So handle buttons, first of all, is a function that I'll need, and I think I already have this. So handle buttons, yes, I already have this. So I need to remove this line and move up here, down here I guess. In order for us to handle a button, we need to have a function to connect it to exactly. Now I need to make them self button student. Like, if you remember, this is what the student's button is called. So if this is clicked, we are gonna connect it to Selfopen student, which is a function I just created. Now copy this 4 times. You have the attendance. We're gonna do this for every section. This is pretty boring as always. So settings, open settings, all right. Now let's uncomment handle buttons and let's see what kind of errors we are gonna have. Is there a function called get students? Oh, alright, I already pulled some data. Okay, so let's just try and open our application. The object has no attribute get button. I've been recording for 22 minutes. Let's fix this one problem and then move on. Okay, so button get. What does this mean? Button get, button get, button get, button get, button get. So let's go and figure this out. So you have handle buttons, which calls button get clicked open get student. Now this button this line I need to comment, but I will check the designer to see what's the matter with that button is. Okay, we have a problem. There is a get button. Oh, our problem is this: we didn't name these buttons yet. So even though I have uncommented that line, if I try to open the application again, the next line is gonna raise another error because that button update does not exist, or the name of it is not like so. So let's just go to handle buttons and let's comment them buttons that we yet didn't just create. Alright, or rename. Now I need to reopen the application and let's see if this works. Alright, it does. So let's see. And if you see, when I click this button, it not only opens this section, but it opens the first section of that section or in that section. Alright, so we have come up with this so far. I'll see you in the next video inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.